to all forms of violence,
violence
and discrimination, against women and girls. So help us, God. You may be seated.
Thank you.
It's now my honor to give the floor to open the meeting to the Deputy Permanent Representative of the Democratic Republic of Congo to the United Nations, Her Excellency, Madame Jocelyn Kabengele Lukundula. You have the floor, please. This meeting is being transmitted live worldwide. You have the floor, please.
Thank you, sir. Excellencies, distinguished ambassadors, distinguished representatives of the United Nations systems, dear partners, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor for me to take the floor at the opening of this side event organized in the context of the 70th session of the Commission on the Status of Women. The permanent mission of the Democratic Republic of the Congo to the United Nations is particularly pleased to co-sponsor this meeting as the theme that brings us together today, advancing gender equality through inclusive leadership and positive masculinity, closely reflects priorities that the Democratic Republic of the Congo actively promotes at the African and international levels. In this regard, we commend the initiative of the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network, ARDN, and the World Madam Foundation, which have taken the lead in organizing this important discussion within the framework of the Commission on the Status of Women. Allow me to also acknowledge the engagement of Dr. Djibril Diallo, former spokesperson of the President of the United Nations General Assembly and currently President and CEO of the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network, whose long-standing commitment to mobilizing the African diaspora and building partnerships around the Sustainable Development Goals has helped bringing together partners supporting this initiative. For the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the promotion of positive masculinity has become a central pillar of our commitment to advancing gender equality. Under the leadership of His Excellency President Félix-Antoine Tshisekedi Tshilombo, who has been designated African Union Champion on Positive Masculinity in the fight against violence against women and girls, the Democratic Republic of the Congo has contributed to elevating this issue at the continental level. This commitment was notably reflected in the Pan-African Conference on Positive Masculinity held in Kinshasa, which resulted in the adoption of the African Union Kinshasa Declaration on Positive Masculinity. This declaration provides an important framework encouraging African states to strengthen policies aimed at preventing violence against women and girls while promoting models of masculinity based on respect, responsibility, and equality. This commitment is also deeply connected to the reality of our country. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, like other countries in the Great Lakes region, is currently facing situations where women and girls are particularly vulnerable to violence. In response, our approach remains on several pillars: strengthening the fight against impunity, supporting survivors, promoting the economic and political empowerment of women, and, importantly, working on upstream to transform the social norms that perpetuate violence. Positive masculinity, therefore, represents a powerful instrument for prevention and social transformation. This approach is fully aligned with both international and continental commitments. It directly contributes to the realization of Sustainable Development Goals 5 on gender equality. It also reflects the ambition of the African Union's Agenda 2063, which places equality, dignity, and social justice at the heart of Africa's transformation. The Commission on the Status of Women provides an essential platform to strengthen the coherence between these global commitments and the concrete actions carried out by governments and their partners. In this context, Dakar 2026 Youth Olympic Games represent an extraordinary opportunity. For the first time in history, an Olympic event will be hosted on the African continent. These games offer a unique platform to mobilize African youth around fundamental values such as respect, inclusion, equality, and human dignity. It is within this broader effort to engage young people that initiatives such as the Red Card campaign, supported by the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network, are particularly relevant. Inspired by the universal language of sport, the Red Card campaign calls on athletes, institutions, and communities to give a symbolic red card to all forms of violence and discrimination against women and girls. By linking the values of sport with the objectives of gender equality and social transformation, this initiative provides a practical pathway to engage youth, civil society, and international partners in advancing Sustainable Development Goal 5. Achieving this ambition requires collective mobilization. It calls for close cooperation among member states, the United Nations system, civil society organizations, the African diaspora, development partners, and financial institutions, and the private sector. It is precisely the spirit of partnership that today's event seeks to strengthen. Allow me to conclude by emphasizing that advancing gender equality is not only a matter of justice, but also a fundamental condition for peace, stability, and sustainable development. The Democratic Republic of the Congo remains fully committed, alongside its African and international partners, to advancing this agenda and promoting the principles embodied in the Kinshasa Declaration on Positive Masculinity. In that spirit, we look forward to a continued fruitful relationship with the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network in advancing future initiatives and partnerships that support gender equality and sustainable development. I wish this meeting a very good success and look forward to the rich discussions that will take place this morning. I thank you for your attention.
On your behalf, I would like to thank again Madame Jocelyn Kabengele Lukundula, Deputy Permanent Representative of the Democratic Republic of Congo to the United Nations. I would like to emphasize again, we have received extraordinary support from the Democratic Republic of Congo, from the initiation of this project, starting with the ambassador, through the staff here present. I'd like to recognize Giselle. Giselle, what are you, please? And also Moses Chibumbu Makandile. Giselle, please let us say thank you very much at the working level. She's worked so hard. Let's give her a big round of applause, please. And also Moses Chibumbu Makandile, what are you, please? Raise your hand. Okay, he's all right. Thank you so much again. And with that, Madame has another engagement, so she will excuse herself from the meeting, and we will continue with this opening ceremony. Thank you very much again for the outstanding support. Thank you. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Deputy Director of the Program Division, Ms. Soyal Bayara, who will read a message from the Under-Secretary General of the United Nations, Executive Director of UNFPA. I had an amazing meeting with Dr. Jane Keita last Thursday in the presence of the Deputy Director. She reiterated the support that she has always had towards the issue that we are dealing with, and she has followed the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network very closely over the years. So on your behalf, I would like, again, to thank Dr. Jane Keita for her support. And without further ado, I'd like to give the floor to the Deputy Director of the Program Division. You have the floor, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Jibril. Excellencies, distinguished representatives, colleagues, and partners, it is a great pleasure to deliver the statement on behalf of UNFPA and convey the warmest regards from our Executive Director, Dr. Diene Keita. And it's also our honor to address you at this pivotal side event during the 70th session of the Commission on the Status of Women. We commend the permanent mission of the Democratic Republic of Congo, the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network, and the World Madame Foundation for convening this critical dialogue. Specifically, we recognize the leadership of His Excellency President Tshisekedi, President of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and the African Union champion on positive masculinity, whose commitment is vital in our collective fight against violence against women and girls. UNFPA views this partnership with men and boys as a necessity, not an option. We lead the global effort to integrate gender-based violence prevention into national policies, ensuring survivors have immediate access to survivor-centered healthcare and legal protection. By responding to urgent needs while aggressively addressing the root causes of violence, we are fostering a world where positive masculinity and gender equality are the standard, not the exception. Excellencies, the Kinshasa Declaration on Positive Masculinity represents a historic milestone in this work, reflecting Africa's leadership in transforming harmful social norms. We see this commitment in action through our husband schools in Niger and Guinea, where men transition from gatekeepers to facilitators of health. As we look ahead, we see a historic opportunity to scale these values. In 2026, the Olympic flame will burn on African soil for the first time for the Youth Olympic Games in Dakar, Senegal. This is more than a sporting milestone. It is a platform for social transformation. Sports are a powerful equalizer. The discipline, respect, and fair play required on the pitch are the very foundations of positive masculinity. At UNFPA, we believe the playing field is where young men first learn to reject violence and embrace inclusive leadership and teamwork. By meeting youth where they are, on the track and the court, we can deliver life-saving health information and challenge harmful stereotypes in an environment where they already feel empowered. Through the spirit of sportsmanship, UNFPA is working with national partners to ensure that the leadership shown in the stadium translates into meaningful leadership in the home. Together, we can ensure that every young person has the power to make informed decisions about their health and their future. We look forward to continuing this work with governments, the UN systems, the civil society, private sector, and the African diaspora. Together, let us build societies where respect, equality, and opportunity are realities for all. Because when we redefine what it means to win as a man, everyone in society wins. I thank you.
I would like to thank the Deputy Director of the Program Division for that statement on behalf of UNFPA, and we're most grateful again for the support, and we look forward to continuing the work with you. So your colleague can just stand in for you now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. There are more arrivals. Let's occupy as many of the seats as possible in terms of participation in person. It's a big effort to come to the United Nations. We appreciate every effort that is made, and we want to make sure that we have seats for everyone. Please have a seat here. Before making my opening statement, I wanted to recognize those who are at the head table. We've heard from the Deputy Permanent Representative of the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is hosting this event on our behalf, graciously hosting the event. And we've heard from Yona Pie, the Deputy Director. To my far left, we have Madame Jago Jan Njai, who is the president of a network in West Africa for women working for peace. The organization is called REPSFECO, and they came all the way from Dakar. Even though they're based in Dakar, it's an organization which covers the entire West Africa region, women working for peace, and in partnership with, among other organizations, UNIFEM. So welcome, Madame.
Thank you, Dr.
And then to my right, we have the founder and the chief executive, the president of the World Madame Foundation, Madame Annie Wan, who is the co-organizer of this event. And then you will hear from her later. We're very proud to have her here, Chancellor Emeritus of Webster University in St. Louis, Missouri, United States. Dr. Elizabeth Beth Strubble is to my right. So again, let us make as much space as we can for those who are arriving. And we've kept this statement as short as we can, but at the same time, we reiterate our commitment at two levels. You've done one level, which is the red card campaign. The second one is, I'd like you to stand up again, please. Reach out and hold the hand of your neighbor, please, so that we observe a minute of silence to rededicate ourselves individually and collectively to do everything possible to fight and address all forms of violence and discrimination against women and girls. Not all men are violent towards women, but when we do the sum total of the violence towards women, men come on top. That is why this theme here is called positive masculinity, to have men as allies in the struggle against all forms of violence and discrimination against women and girls. So we're going to have 1 minute of reflection in that connection, please. Thank you. You may be seated. Before we begin, allow me to warmly acknowledge the untiring efforts of the team of the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network. My colleagues here present and outside this room, they have worked with remarkable dedication, often behind the scenes, to bring this event together. I would like to express my deepest appreciation for the commitment of my colleagues and their professionalism. Those who are with you here in the room are Arlene Katsiv, here present. She's the Director of External Relations. Arlene, stand up so that everybody can see you. Remain standing. David Katsiv, our Director for everything to do with audiovisual issues since 2004. We have Gordon Tapper, the Executive Producer, who is not here. Probably he's trying still to fix matters in this connection. We have Dakota Gant, who is our youth representative on, stand up please, on the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network. We've got Chancellor Emeritus, Dr. Elizabeth Beth Strubble, who is the chair, the co-chair of ARDN's Higher Education Initiative. And we've got also James Shu, who's always there behind, and he's our boss. He's the Director of Programs and Legal Counsel, the most effective person that you can imagine stand up. And we also have Akeju Abbas, who is our Goodwill Ambassador. And we have also Chantal Yelu Mulop, who is our representative, special advisor to the president of DRC. I would like us to give them, those present and those outside this room, warmest applause for recognition of their efforts, please. You may be seated. Thank you very much. It is both an honor for me and a deeply meaningful moment to welcome each and every one of you to this high-level side event at the United Nations headquarters in New York in the context of the 70th session of the Commission of the Status of Women. I have grown up in the United Nations, having served in the United Nations system, therefore, and now through my work in the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network, I have seen firsthand how collective action can be when it is guided by shared values and a clear sense of purpose. Allow me again to reiterate my appreciation to His Excellency Ambassador Zenon Mukongo Ngai, Permanent Representative of the Democratic Republic of Congo to the United Nations, and to all his staff for working so hard to make this happen. I would like also to thank our partner, the World Madam Foundation, here present. Madam Annie Wan has worked tirelessly to make our partnership a reality. Even as she walked into the room, the bottles of water that you have here, each one of you, she said we need to have each participant to have water. So let us again welcome Annie Wan of the World Madam Foundation. Thank you very much. In that connection, I would also like to express my deep appreciation to the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Her Excellency Amina Mohammed, who is the #2 for the entire United Nations system and a proud daughter of the African continent. She has been a driving force behind the work that we've been doing, and we've been working very hard to make sure that we accelerate the attainment of the United Nations development goals by 2030. I have reiterated my appreciation to Dr. Jana Keita, and we have come together today around a simple but urgent message. That is, gender equality will not be achieved without inclusive leadership. And gender equality will not be sustained without engaging men and boys as part of the solution. This is why it is very important that we are looking at this theme today, which is advancing gender equality through inclusive leadership and positive masculinity. Allow me to say a word about the concept of positive masculinity. As I said before, not all men are perpetrators of violence. The vast majority of men stand for dignity, stand for respect, and for equality. And yet, when we look at the global reality of violence and discrimination against women and girls, men are disproportionately represented among those who are responsible. This reality cannot be for dividing us, but for partnership. It calls for men and boys to stand up, to take responsibility, and to become part of the solution as allies, men as role models, men as champions of change. This is precisely the spirit of the theme of this side event, positive masculinity. At the heart of the work of the Red Card campaign, which is a global call to all forms of violence and discrimination against women and girls, it is not just a message. It is a movement using universal languages, sports, and culture to mobilize communities, institutions, and partners around dignity, respect, and equality. And today, this movement is closely linked to a historic moment. As was mentioned by the Democratic Republic of Congo, for the first time in the history of Africa, the Olympics are coming to Africa. First time, from 31st of October to 13th of November in Dakar, Senegal, and this will be in the form of the Youth Olympic Games, Dakar 2026. This is not only a milestone for Africa, it is a moment of global significance. It gives us a unique opportunity to transform visibility into responsibility and momentum into lasting impact by placing gender equality at the heart of the legacy of the Games. In this context, we're very, very happy that the United Nations system has put together a plan called One UN Plan, where there are over 10 United Nations agencies, programs, based in Dakar, Senegal, for this initiative in which the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network is part of. This framework is organized around three phases. What can we do on the way to the Olympics? What can we do during the Olympics from 31st of October and 13th of November? And what can we do after the Olympics to make sure that the legacy of the Olympics stay with the African continent? Within the continuum of the flagship initiative, we are discussing, in which we invite each one of you to come back to us as partners, we're discussing the organization of a global youth leadership summit that will bring one young woman, one young man from all over the world on the 24th of October, 1 week before the Olympics in Dakar, Senegal. So we're discussing that to make sure that each one of you will be involved in it around the theme that we talked about. Our objective is very clear: to use the Red Card campaign to accelerate SDG 5, which is to work on the issue of gender equality and as entry point towards the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And in that connection, I would like to end by saying that this event is part of 3 signature annual events that the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network organizes. Number 1, in March, during the Commission on the Status of Women. Number 2, in May, around 25th of May, celebrating Africa Day at the United Nations headquarters. And number 3, during the high-level segment of the United Nations General Assembly in September, we organize our summit, Africa Open for Business. How do we bring the private sector into the discussions that we're talking about? Therefore, today is not an isolated conversation. It is part of a journey towards the Olympics in Dakar 2026, a journey towards using SDG 5 towards accelerating the Sustainable Development Goals in Africa and in the diaspora, a journey towards the world where dignity, respect, equality are the reality. Let's move forward together with clarity, purpose, and determination. The time to act is now. Thank you very much. With that introductory statement, I would like to give the floor now to the founder and president of the World Madam Foundation, who is a co-organizer of this event. Let's welcome Madam Annie Wan, please.
Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is an honor to join this discussion at the CSW 70 site event in 2026. Sitting here with all of you, I see the collective wisdom needed to reshare the global bedrock of sustainable development. As the founder of the World Madam Foundation, I believe true change requires 3 keys. First, we must build on fairness and justice under the law. Equality without legal protection is weak. We support women's power worldwide. Fairness must be universal and real. Second, we must invest in women's economic empowerment. Investing in women is not an act of charity. It is the most helpful for global growth because we firmly believe investing in women dreams are boundless. Third, we must combine all of society. Gender equality is not a solo pursuit by women. It requires everyone. Only when law, capital, and people work together can we truly bring fairness. Let us work together to pave a path toward dignity, equality, and freedom for the next step. Thank you.
Annie Wan, the founder of the World Madam Foundation and president of the World Madam Foundation, has come again with a very strong delegation here So those members of the delegation of the World Madam Foundation, please stand up so that we can recognize you. Stand up, please. So as you can see, it's a very, very strong delegation that she works very hard to put together. We appreciate the partnership with the World Madam Foundation. You may be seated, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
We now move to the panel discussion, which will be led by Chancellor Emeritus from Webster University in St. Louis, Missouri, co-chair of the Higher Education Initiative of the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network, Dr. Elizabeth Beth Strobel. You have the floor, please, for your panel.
Good morning, and Dr. Jibril, thank you for the opportunity to have this panel discussion. I will introduce the members of the panel briefly. They are leaders. They are leaders, they are entrepreneurs, they are heads of civil society organizations and businesses, and function as agents of change to create gender equality. And we'll hear more in a moment from their experience and their leadership. Just 10 days ago, on March 8th, we marked the annual International Women's Day. That day signals the beginning of the Commission on the Status of Women convenings, of which we are a part. And it marks a significant moment and a reason to gather at the United Nations, as we have today, for this event. We know that the fight for women's rights, opportunities, freedom, and justice has continued for centuries. That fight has been led by women and by men who understand that justice for all must mean all. Our focus for today's discussion is how to advance inclusive leadership and positive masculinity to achieve the goals of gender equality as envisioned in the UN Sustainable Development Goals, with a looming deadline of 2030 to achieve those just 4 years from the present day. I thank again today's panelists for their participation and their eagerness to share their experiences and their wisdom with us today. And I will introduce them one by one, then ask them an opening question, and then delve into more of their individual experiences. So will each of you stand as you're introduced? Ms. Dakota Gant, founder and president of the Black and Green Collective, communications director for Metropolitan Washington EAR, and the youth cultural advisor for Arden. Zuditu Ziggy Mulugeta, master stylist, entrepreneur, and purpose-driven founder of Ziggy Artistry and Z Hair Collection, founder and CEO of Swim for Yinka. Mintwab Zelalu Tafesi, Chief Partnerships and Communications at the UNDP Regional Bureau for Africa. And fourth, Dr. Vicky Casanova-Willis, Deputy Director and Senior Fellow for the Office of HBCU Development and International Cooperation. Welcome, ladies. Thank you. So my first question for each of you, and let's start with Dr. Casanova-Willis and just come this direction. How has your career given you opportunities to advance gender equality? What successes have you witnessed? And what barriers do you see that remain? Dr. Willis, please.
Thank you so much. Well, first, I'd like to just frame the question. Queen Mother, greetings. I'd like to frame my answer to the question first by saying, what my work is, if I may, and bring you greetings simultaneously on behalf of the International Human Rights Association for American Minorities, of which I'm a member of the directorate, ICRAM. The Office of HBCU Development and International Cooperation, which many know as OHBCUD, is a major part of my work, and through that, lots of partnership for quite some time with my chair and Dr. Jibril Diallo. And I also am a co-founder of the International Civil Society Working Group for the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. So as you can see, as you can hear, my work does intersect with a global and local human rights work, and also education. So from a direct services standpoint, I actually work with many youth, high school, helping prepare them for college so that they ideally can end up in an HBCU. Historically, black colleges and universities have been the bedrock for many people. And interestingly, many don't know, but not just people of African ancestry. Internationally as well, but in particular, these schools were founded when it was illegal, actually, initially, to even allow people of African ancestry here in my country to read, right? So starting from literally the illiteracy, which is one of the things that, one of the forms of violence, even that I think the Red Card campaign can fight against, right? There are so many forms of violence when you look at what really will it take to help lift people, women and girls, to the status that CSW, you know, on its 70th year and occasion, so many advances have been gained, but so many more need to be. So education is really the key as far as my work is concerned. Many times it's not only the content, which can lead to you know, business skills, to be able to move entrepreneurial ways of supporting entire families. Sometimes someone with the education literally lifts their entire community around the world. We know this. So to just note that with the youth that we work with especially, we're consistently saying if you can't be what you can't see. So a school can be in your home, a school can be in the community, a school can be at an institution like an HBCU, and we continue to do that work and to lift it. It's an honor and a privilege. The awareness of international and local campaigns like this are critical. So we'll continue to support, and we thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you. I hear in your speaking not only the historic but the current importance of education, because lack of education is a form of violence and discrimination. So thank you for that. Siggy.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My role has been making sure that everyone feels seen, heard, and respected in my space. My salon and my business has always thrived on welcoming everyone. I actually use the line, whether it's my business or my friend group, I want my circle to look like the UN. So diversity is power in my world. And the first thing, in order to make sure that everybody feels protected and heard, is, do we understand what their issues are? You can't help what you don't understand. So you have to ask questions. You have to be willing to make the changes that are necessary in order for everyone to feel safe. Oftentimes when you think about discrimination and violence, people aren't willing to share those things because they feel like they're either going to get blamed or there isn't an ally for them. So whether it's in the workplace or outside, the first thing is open lines of communication and making sure there's a safe space. I feel like that's the main thing, and that's very important for us to continue to have a safe space in our world as just humans and professionals. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My career has been dedicated to amplifying the voices of the most impacted by environmental racism, which are children and Black and brown women who serve as matriarchs and generally the first responders within our communities. Alongside that, I am committed to amplifying the voices of youth across the diaspora while equipping young people not just to find their voice, but to use it and lead boldly within their generation. Through my work with Young, Gifted, and Green, we have advanced gender equality by positioning women of color not just as participants, but as leaders within their community, as organizers, and policy advocates. And while amplifying and positioning women in these spaces, we have found that the ability to broker solutions to decrease pollution in air, soil, and water, preventative measures, and avoid toxic consumer products to create healthier environments inside and outside the womb have become more possible. And those voices are able to move in a way that other people are not, because they are speaking from a place of experience, not just from a place of reading policy. The successes that I have witnessed through several different programs, but using mothers as advocates for their own communities. We found that when we provided women with tools in cities like Flint, Michigan, we all know about the water crisis in Flint, Michigan. When we provided women with the tools to lead the charge against lead poisoning, we found that there was not just a change, but a shift in the landscape. And we saw a shift in the local power structure, which made all the difference. Also by using, with my work with Young, Gifted, and Green, using different lead poisoning prevention strategies and having programs such as Lead-Free Mamas has also helped us push for legislation and prioritized maternal health and protect the reproductive rights of women living in toxic environments. I would definitely say that the barriers that we face are definitely financial barriers because the funding gap for women of color they receive a fraction of the philanthropic gifts that other people do. And I would also say the double burden that women face, not just women being expected to be leaders within their community, but simultaneously perform the bulk of unpaid domestic labor within like households. Through my work with ARDN, I've been committed to amplifying youth voices within the diaspora and just creating spaces where young people are not waiting for a seat at the table. They are given the tools to create their own spaces and build their own table so that we can have a sustainable future that does not involve all of the issues of the past, but it's birthed from the vision of youth. I would also like to say I love hearing everything about education because I was also an educator. I taught 1st through 3rd grade. As we see, education is so important at all levels, at the HBCU level and 1st through 3rd grade. It is by positioning, by giving children the words to explain how things are, explain how they feel, empowering them, and even at that age, just giving them permission to be leaders. We are kind of creating a pipeline for future generations to move forward and lead in ways that we could not. So
thank you, Dakota. Thank you. Thank you, Mentwap. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jibril, for having me here today. From my side, as an African woman, a mother of 3, a development practitioner, gender equality is not only about a career. It is a purpose for me. I trained in international development law and human rights, and I actually specialized on gender and comparative human rights. And since then, I actually worked for various organizations as gender and women's rights officer, for instance, with ActionAid in Ethiopia. Then after joining UNDP, I worked as democratic governance specialist, but particularly focusing on women's political participation. In all that, working in Ethiopia, Nigeria, Brussels, and across the continent, we work in 46 sub-Saharan African countries as UNDP Africa. In all that, what I learned is gender equality is about really redesigning systems, because the systems that we are operating currently are systems that are built without having women in mind. So we need to focus on systems, and we need to work on those systems. And we need to have gender as not as an agenda, because we see it as an agenda quite often, but rather it should be as the operating system, the operating model for all of us. Otherwise, we can't actually make a difference by just putting or running projects, simply running projects. So that is something that I want to emphasize. And as UNDP Africa, there is one initiative that I'm really proud of and that I am associated with that is called the Gender Equality Seal. So this is a system where we are working with governments, private sector, academia and all to help institutions look into their systems identify inequality embedded in their systems and then fix it. So we are currently working with over 60, in fact, public institutions in 27 African countries. And what do we do and how it works? We ask these institutions to do self-assessment, to look at their HR systems, to look at their gender budgeting, to look at their procurement systems, to look at their data, how do they do it? How do they have women and gender into their operating system? And then once identifying those gaps, we help them fix it. And that is actually something that I think we need to do, because projects, we have seen it, projects, just gender women projects, do not deliver. We need to actually integrate it in the systems, identify the gaps, and work towards addressing those gaps. And UNDP, I'm proud to say, we are working in that gender equality still in all these countries. So what barrier exists still in terms of the gender equality? For me, it's the social norms. Laws can change in a year or even less than a year, but changing the mindset actually takes a generation. So we need to work with boys and men at early stage, and that is non-negotiable. We cannot rewrite the rules ourselves by women talking to women or women simply. We need to bring the women, the boys, we need to bring the men, and we need to rewrite the rules and the systems together, actually, for a healthier family, for a healthier community, for a healthier global system. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Mentwab, that's exactly where I wanted to turn the conversation next. Is we've talked about inclusive leadership and positive masculinity, and you've highlighted that working with men and particularly boys at a very young age is important. I'd like our other panelists, Dr. Casanova-Willis, can you give us some examples of ways that work to change those norms and expectations on the part of boys and men?
Absolutely. I think I agree with what each of my esteemed co-panelists said, and especially the fact that if we are working in silos, then the system is simply going to continue to roll on the way that it rolls. Or we may have improvements in one specific institution or one community. But to the extent that, for example, I'll bring up an interesting entrepreneurial project that we're partnering with, for example, the National Business League, National Association for Black Businesses, and academia for the first time this year on a national scale will be working with a national pitch competition. Simply paying attention to the system to say, let's be intentional about looking to ensure that there is equity in terms of who's able to participate. Not favoritism, but if there's already implicit favoritism or bias just because of how I wanted to bring at one point James Brown. Do we have any rhythm and blues fans here? If not, just Google that song, right? It's a man's world. It's a man's world, he says, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl. So it's not just nice music to listen to. Literally, we have to create those situations where there is an equitable opportunity. And again, if we are seeing more folks in front of the classroom who look like us, both in terms of, nationalism, ethnicity, whatever the things are that have been used to distinguish us, but from a gender perspective, where is that balance? That's what's critical. When we work with teens and we give them opportunities and role play and create situations and help guide them to know what would be an appropriate response, what's inappropriate. We do this in businesses right now, right, with the sexual harassment and so forth. Let that be a part of the norm. It's education on a different level. It's not about getting a credential. It's about learning, as you said, to change the culture. We can do it.
Thank you. And then building the systems that support that. and engaging youth and entrepreneurs and everyone in the process. I thank my panelists for their contributions today and regret to say our time is moving along, so I'm going to bring this to a close. I saw a post by international speaker Kalita Jones this week because of it being the month of March, and she had this to say: solidarity becomes meaningful when it expands to include the voices that history has too often placed at the margins. And then she asked this question: are we building movements that simply represent women, or movements that truly make space for all women? And so I'm proud to be part of Arden that is certainly in the camp of the second and making space for all. And thank you, panelists, for your wisdom today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I did not hear a warm enough applause for this wonderful panel, please. This is what we call gender. We have powerful women to be in the driver's seat, driving the process, and then men being partners. I'm very, very proud of the panel that Chancellor Emeritus, Dr. Elizabeth Best-Trouble, put together. Thank you again, panelists. I would like now to recognize Madame Jago Njai. Au cas où vous souhaiteriez dire quelques mots avant d'ouvrir la séance. Madame, as I said, she's the president of a West African organization called REPSPECO, based in Dakar, Senegal, and she came all the way especially to attend this panel. You have the floor, please.
Merci. Vous permettrez de me lever un peu. Je voudrais également introduire deux grandes dames du Sénégal qui sont là dans la salle, qui sont de grands cadres, des responsables. Je veux parler de Madame Safietou Diop, qui est la présidente du réseau Sigil Jigéen. Sigil Jigéen, ça veut dire en wolof, aider les femmes à se relever et à se tenir debout. C'est une organisation qui existe, l'une des plus anciennes organisations du Sénégal. Elle est spécialiste sur les questions de droit, d'autonomisation des femmes, les questions politiques. Elle est également le porte-flambeau ou le porte-parole des organisations de femmes du Sénégal, Madame Safietou Diop. Elle a occupé de hautes fonctions, directrice de cabinet, chef de cabinet, conseiller technique à la primature et à la présidence de la République. Elle est avec moi. Voilà. J'aimerais également demander...
Let me just translate that. She would like to introduce two special ladies from Senegal. Madame Safietou Diop, who is a member of an organization called Sigil Jigéen Senegal, a major organization which works for gender equality in Senegal, and also has occupied several posts as part of her career.
Voilà, et je veux parler de Madame Waré Ndiaye Kandji, que j'appelle affectueusement ma fille. Waré Ndiaye Kandji, elle est experte en genre, paix et sécurité sur l'agenda femmes, paix et sécurité. Elle également, elle a occupé de très hautes fonctions au niveau des Nations Unies, le Bureau des Nations Unies pour l'Afrique de l'Ouest et le Sahel, mais également, actuellement, elle a également travaillé avec Madame Binta Diop, que vous connaissez, l'envoyée spéciale auprès de l'Union africaine. Mais actuellement, elle est conseillère technique principale au niveau du ministère des Forces armées. C'est dans ce sens qu'elle est venue représenter son ministre à ce CSW 70, Madame Waré Ndiaye Kandji.
Madame Waré Ndiaye Kandji, who is representing the Minister of Armed Forces of Senegal right now, and she has occupied several positions here, and we have worked very closely with her personally on issues of gender, issues of peace, issues of security. And she has also worked with a very well-known personality called Madame Binta Diop, who has been special envoy of the African Union for a long time.
Merci beaucoup, docteur. Et moi, je suis Madame Jago Ndiaye, présidente du réseau Paix et Sécurité pour les femmes de l'espace CEDEAO. Vous m'excusez, je ne parle pas bien anglais, Donc, je vais me permettre de parler français. Voilà. Vous savez, le thème qui nous réunit aujourd'hui, surtout concernant la masculinité positive, nous interpelle tous. Parce que la masculinité positive s'inscrit, est un levier pour lutter contre les violences faites aux femmes et aux filles. Et la transformation sociale commence par nos attitudes et nos comportements. La paix commence dans nos familles, dans nos écoles et dans nos quartiers. Le respect et l'égalité sont des choix, mais aussi sont des responsabilités. Donc, en faisant le choix sur ces ambassadeurs, ce club que nous avons mis en place, que nous avons intitulé Club des jeunes adultes ambassadeurs pour la masculinité positive. Nous avons fait ce choix parce que ces jeunes sont des jeunes qui refusent la violence, sont des jeunes qui protègent, sont des jeunes qui écoutent, qui ont l'écoute attentive, sont des jeunes qui inspirent. C'est pour cela que nous avons sélectionné pour le moment 20 jeunes qui sont issus vraiment du milieu des médias, de la télévision, des influenceurs qui sont suivis par de très fortes communautés derrière eux et que ces jeunes interviennent sur ces questions. Notre région, Afrique de l'Ouest et Sahel, et particulièrement notre pays, le Sénégal, qui nous intéresse, fait face à de nombreux défis. Et ces défis ont pour nom les violences basées sur le genre, ont pour nom les violences numériques actuellement, ont pour nom le harcèlement, les stéréotypes persistants, la pression sociale. Donc, mais nous avons à côté des forces extraordinaires qui sont composées par une jeunesse engagée, créative, capable de transformer les mentalités. C'est pourquoi notre club se veut un espace de leadership où nous apprenons à porter des messages forts, un cadre d'action humanitaire avec des campagnes de plaidoyer, de sensibilisation, de dialogue intergénérationnel. Et vous me permettrez de saluer les jeunes qui sont dans la salle. Djibril, félicitations parce que nous avons beaucoup de jeunes. Ça, c'est une rencontre intergénérationnelle. Je suis sûr qu'il y a au moins 2 à 3 générations de femmes et d'hommes dans cette salle. Et ça, c'est à saluer grâce à Djibril. Donc, ce mouvement positif valorise les garçons et les hommes, engagés pour le respect, l'égalité, la dignité humaine. Et pour ce faire, nous travaillons en synergie avec ARDN de Djibril Diallo, avec le ministère de la Femme, avec ONU Femmes qui supporte ce projet. Et nous nous investissons également, nous prenons des engagements avec le mouvement Carton Rouge de Djibril pour travailler sur cette question de la masculinité positive. J'aimerais donc m'en arrêter là et puis vous remercier, surtout d'avoir de me prêter attention. Je vous remercie et j'en profite pour dire quelques mots sur Djibril. Djibril, nous le connaissons depuis 30 ans au moins, dans les années 90, où le professeur Ndioro Ndiaye était ministre de la Femme du Sénégal. Djibril était à l'UNICEF au Sénégal et Djibril a beaucoup appuyé ce ministère. Et c'est ce partenariat qui continue jusqu'à présent au niveau de notre association, de notre mouvement sur la masculinité positive, mais également avec AMLD de Mme Ndioro Ndiaye qui vous remercie et vous félicite et vous encourage. Merci beaucoup.
Madame talked about a number of items. When it comes to positive masculinity, they put together a club of young people for positive masculinity, 20 young people. And she also highlighted the challenges that the country of Senegal and West Africa confronted with. She also noted that in this room, we made an effort to have a lot of participants who are young people in this room. So she saluted the presence of these young people in the sense that it provides the opportunity of intergenerational dialogue. And within that framework, she also mentioned the partnership that we've had within the framework of the campaign to give a red card to all forms of violence and discrimination against women and girls. I was humbled by the mention that she has said that we've been working together since 1990 when she was a senior advisor to Madame Ndioro Ndiaye, who was at the time minister. So the relationship does not date from today. Talking about young people, we have two young volunteers who have also been with us, whom I would like to recognize. Elaine Chen and Asha Yowood. Where are you, please? Just stand up so that we can see you and recognize. Those are our young people, our young volunteers who are here, who have been working. Thank you very much. I now would like also to recognize Queen Mother Moore, who has been supporting us for decades, making a big effort to come all the way from the city of Harlem to be with us all the time. We want to, could you just stand up so that we can again recognize the Queen Mother, please? Okay, so go ahead, please, yeah.
Queen Mother, just want to say one word. This is a high holy time for all of us. We are fasting and praying Ramadan and Lent for the Christians. What a time that we have gathered here at the United Nations of Women to empower each other. I just want to leave with you that I was so proud of the work that we have done at the United Nations, and we are celebrating our 80th anniversary. And with that 80th anniversary, the President of the General Assembly is a woman from Germany. And we were so proud of her addressing the General Assembly this year. But what I want you to know is I sat in my seat in the GA Hall for the debate of hearing member states speaking as heads of state here. And then as I wrap my arms around the United Nations and the role of the women here at the United Nations. Where are we, women? Where are we going? Who are we, and what power and empowered only God has given us? It's time for the plan of action to relate to many of the women who are not sitting here at headquarters. I want to say to you that Queen Mother is going on 85 years old, been at the UN going on 58 years as a humanitarian. And Queen Mother was sitting in the GA Hall, and I was wondering, where is the role of our women? And are they attacking the issues that they must relate to our dear son, Jibril? With the red card, Queen Mother has gone out to sports, Olympics. I was in France. And you know they come into the U.S. soon. Where are we with the red card there? Where our men are gathering in the world of sports in big numbers. Women, you must shape and change the conversation. And the only way you'll be able to do that by bonding as one, from bottom up and from up down, reaching the women and together. And I want to leave with you just one thing before I need to sort of like go back to Queen Mother way of life. 80 years is the anniversary that we are celebrating here at the United Nations. Transformation is taking place here. I said that Queen Mother is going on 85. I'm older than the United Nations. I am older than China. I'm just coming back from mainland China, involved with the young people. And I'm older than Nigeria.
Okay.
I am saying to you, women today, in the presence of my son, empower the world and go on and shape the world the women want. And I thank you.
Queen Mother, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're in your 80s, but you look to me more like somebody who's 25. She's got such positive energy, you see. Thank you, thank you. For a brief statement, it is now my pleasure to give the floor to Li Shu, the president of the U.S. Chengdu Cultural Association. You have the floor for 1 minute, please.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends, good morning. It's a pleasure to gather at the United Nations headquarters to witness the world's largest endeavor dedicated to promoting gender equality. The women's rights, accessible justice is an important transformative force in empowering women and girls to realize their rights. As a member of the World Medal Foundation and also as the president of the American Chen Jinggu Cultural Association, which was listed in the nation intangible cultural heritage directory of China in 2008 and has over 120 million followers worldwide. I believe this Chen Jinggu culture, through its hundreds years of historical inheritance, and profoundly embodies respect for life. The celebration of the mental love, the guardianship of the family, and the aspiration for social harmony. We call for everyone's participation to join promote our common goal of gender equality and women's development. In today's globalized, this culture carry even greater practical. Thank you very much. Thank you all. So I will show the picture. This is Chen Jinggu. Yeah, this is 1,000 years ago. Yeah, it's real, a lady, very great lady. Yeah, for the peace.
Thank you.
For the
Thank
peace.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Li Yanshu, for that statement. I would like, again, before I make my closing statement, to when I called on our executive producer and treasurer general, he was not here. He was fixing everybody's problems. Gordon Tupper is there. Gordon, could you advance so that we can again say thank you to you, Gordon? And I mentioned Giselle Kasongo from the Democratic Republic of Congo, the permanent mission. Giselle, move forward so that we can really say thank you to you because you made such good work for us. And you stayed all the way, long life and everything. Thank you, thank you. By way of closing, I would like to make the following points. One, that as this important exchange comes to close, one message is very clear. And that message is that when we talk about gender equality, that requires all of us working together with purpose and accountability. Purpose and accountability. Inclusive leadership and positive masculinity are not abstract ideas. They are practical pathways to building societies where women and girls can live free from violence and free from discrimination, and where men and boys are active partners in shaping the future. Through the campaign to give a red card to all forms of violence and discrimination against women and girls, in the lead up to the Youth Olympics, Dakar 2026, we are translating this shared vision into concrete action. What we have discussed today must continue beyond this room, across institutions that each and every one of you belong to, and generations also. At the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network, with the World Madam Foundation, whose founder is here, together we remain truly committed to sustaining this momentum, strengthening partnerships, and making sure that our collective effort contribute meaningfully to the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals by 2030 and the African Union Agenda 2063 under the leadership of the proud daughter of Africa, Amina Mohammed, who's Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, who's driving, thank you very much, let's give her again another round of applause to Amina Mohammed. She's driving the acceleration of the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. Let's move forward with clarity and unity and determination. With that, I bring to a close this side event as part of the Commission on the Status of Women. Thank you very much. That's it. It's over.